Well, today we're going to take a look at a pocket knife that was built for ultra light everyday carry around town, coming in at 0.2 inches thick, 1.2 ounces, carbon fiber. We're looking at the SOG Ultra XR and discuss how capable it might be in the backcountry as an ultralight option for backpackers and thru hikers. All right, folks, there she blows. Look at that carbon fiber. And hey, we'll just jump right into the handle because that's absolutely an aspect to the design that probably some of you are intrigued by. It's a carbon fiber, no liners, which means that it's rigid, but you can definitely, if you squeeze it, you can get a little bit of flex there. On the design, you know, if you push sideways, you can feel it kind of flexing a little bit, but really cool pattern there. Now this thing is so thin. This thing is going to come in at 0.2 on the thickness, 0.2. That is, I think, the thinnest knife I have tested and reviewed here on the channel. I can't think of one that I would have had a thinner profile. And because every aspect of this knife is to cut down on weight, this guy comes in at 1.21 ounces. So this is bananas lightweight. So lightweight in its weight class. Now, the sides have all been radiused, which is a good thing when you whip that thing open. So it's still, because of how thin it is, you still feel the edge, but it has been radius and it's comfortable in that way. Now the old Ultras kind of had like a finger cutout, you know, design. I'm really glad that they went with just a very natural profile. You got a deep guard there, which I really like, so you're not gonna accidentally like slide up and hurt yourself. And then I can easily get 3 and almost my full pinky on there without issue. I got a little bit of light jimping there on the spine, no other jimp or anything like that to speak of. So I mean, it fills out your hand because of the width of the handle. It doesn't feel as thin as you would think. So I'm not saying in any way this is like a super ergonomic, like full handled knife. That's not what I'm saying. It's obviously ridiculously slim on purpose. That's why you're interested in it. But for an ultra slim knife like this, it's filling out the hand rather well. I never felt like it was too narrow, you know, and then I'm like holding like a toothpick. Because of the width of it, it does fill out that hand rather well, and I'm able to have good control over it. And that huge pocket clip loop helps to just kind of, because of how contouring it is and there's nothing abrupt, it just fills out the kind of the back part of your hand really well there. So that's all good on that aspect. Now the other point as we go into that pocket clip, it's designed as a possible money clip. That's why that loop over is so big. Now I like the gray out. You know, you'll see it, and it does have a profile when you are wearing it, but the idea is that you could use it as a money clip and just throw it into your pocket or into that, you know, fifth pocket on your slacks or jeans. In that concept, it is ambidextrous, so righties or lefties, you'll be able to swap that over. No room for a lanyard hole there, but you could run a lanyard off of one of these posts. Here, there's good flex without it being bendy. You know, like I'm not worried about bending and deforming the tension on there, and it's got good tension. And I could easily, again, throw that money up in there. And now I have it kind of as that cash money clip. And I do have access to be able to even to open the knife, use it if I had to, just to like kind of grip it, cut something, and then use the XR lock and close that guy without much difficulty. So that's kind of a cool little feature there. Now this is not going to be a good card holder. Your cards are going to basically be the entire length of the knife. You're not going to be able to access the locking mechanism or anything else like that. And sideways you could do that, but then it just becomes this weird wonky thing. So it's really designed just to hold some cash if you wanted to. Now let's move on to that beautiful blade. Now there's 2 different versions. I got the grayed out version. There is a gold version out there as well. So if you really want to flash your style, there is that capability. I like the gray with the carbon fiber. It just kind of connects with me. What the coating, you can see that's definitely showing a little bit of wear on there. This is going to have a saber grind. The blade length overall from handle to tip is 2.75. Actual cutting edge is 2.625. So very similar to, say, like a Spyderco Delica. In fact, let's just run that in here real fast, just so that we can see that there. I mean, it is literally about the same cutting edge as a Spyderco Delica. Now the Delica will obviously have that larger, fuller handle, more radius, rounder, all that aspect. But this is going to have CPM S35BN steel. That is a steel made here in America, and it's got a great edge retention capability. I love the swedge. The thickness is 0.08. This is so hair thin, so this is by no means like a stabbing prying knife. It pierces phenomenally well, and it's got a really nice belly, so you could even do some decent, you know, minor food prep, obviously packaging, and then just all the basic everyday carry tasks, you know, everyday stuff you might run into, cardboard, foam, cordage. It cuts really well just because of how thin the blade geometry is. I mean, it's just like a razor blade almost, or a utility knife, and how thin it is, and still giving you a little bit of strength with that saber grind versus a hollow. So I appreciate that. I like that. And every material I put up against it, it just slid buttery smooth right through. The one aspect, going now to the more of that backpacker ultralight question, one, it does not have 90-degree spine on it, so if you want to throw sparks with it, you couldn't do that. And the only area really where I was not really enjoying myself, and it wasn't necessarily with the edge geometry, it was more just with handle pressure because of, again, how thin it is, was the carving. It just doesn't really carve very well, any sort of woods craft of any kind. If you had to make some shavings to get a fire going, if you're doing any of that other aspect stuff, it's not designed for that. It's definitely designed with an urban world in mind, and that's where I think it's best suited for the general task that you would want to put this through. And so just to button up the conversation about the Ultra XR as a good option for thru hikers and backpackers and those people who are in the backcountry wanting to count every single ounce. It is very slim, it's very lightweight, obviously, and if literally you're just using it to really open packaging, maybe, you know, cut a little bit of food and cut some cordage here and there, then it would probably get the job done. But for me, I just need something a little fuller and a little larger for my backcountry adventures. An option that I'm carrying as well on this trip is the Buck 112 Slim. Way cheaper, not as premium as steel or cool in action and, you know, those aspects, but it's still pretty lightweight and will do an amazing job for backpackers and thru hikers, and it's not going to break the bank, and it won't eat up a bunch of ounces either. Or even a simple Mora, you know, basic 511, about $8, and this is going to be a lot more robust, but also a lot fuller in the hand, a lot more capable, and still be very lightweight. So it's obviously a preference, and maybe the Ultra XR is awesome for you and you're like, man, that would be absolutely perfect for my backcountry adventures. And again, if you're not really doing a lot of hard bearing down tasks, it might be perfect for you. But for me, I do that a lot, and so I need something with just a little bit more robust, fuller handle more than anything, and a little bit longer blade length and a little bit more blade real estate for outdoor adventures like this. And so we'll bring it into kind of lock up and all of that. Great centering, dead center. Again, just so crazy thin. You do have that nice cutout that has been radius, so it grabs, but it's not like sharp and annoying or like hurtful to your thumb. So you can easily either flick it like that, or you can slowly open it if you wish. And then it's got the XR lock. Now the XR locking mechanism, really nice, strong pivot back and forth. You have a good stop pin right there, so the blade falls into place. The only flex I'm really feeling is more in just the carbon fiber handle, and that there are no liners and how thin it is. I'm not really feeling it on the joint, and it's nice solid lock up and down. I'm just feeling ever so slight. And again, I believe that's just because of all the carbon fiber and how thin the overall handle is. I'm not feeling it in the sense of like, oh, the pivots are all loosey-goosey. Now, there's only one torsion spring on this. They've wrapped it around this pivot right here and then pressed it in. But you can easily see that sucker, if I can do it here on frame, pull back, whip it into place, pull it back, open it up, and catch it. Sorry, it's just hard to do it on screen here for you guys, but you get it. Works super well. Love the manual action, buttery smooth. Cannot see pivot in there. It's super smooth. I would probably assume ball bearings, but I'm not going to assume. I can't tell you what is on that pivot, but I mean, you can see how smooth it's flying back and forth. So regardless of what it is, I mean, it's doing really well there in that regard. So guys, on all of that, really digging it for what this is of an ultra slim blade here. Let's just run in some competitive options, talk price with you. I did go over to Blade HQ and pick this up. GP Knives is now a SOG distributor, which is super sweet. Amazon, obviously. I paid $125 for this knife. CPM S35VN steel, ultra light, carbon fiber, the XR lock, you know, all those aspects are super sweet. Just to give you, again, competitive options, we got the Delica here, just for size perspective more than anything else. And then I do have one of the new for 2020 SOG Flash redesign, D2 steel AT line right there, just so you can see some size perspective. And so again, I'll have links for you guys below if you are interested in the Ultra XR. So I do believe that this is made in China, so would prefer Taiwan like the AT XR series. That's just my preference. I know for a lot of you, you feel the same. Competitively, I think it's a little overpriced. I think if it was more around the original Ultra that they had around $100, I think that would be a little bit more doable. It's still good quality, great fit and finish, great steel and a US steel, but for $125, I do feel like that's pretty steep for what you're getting. So the trade-off is I don't really know of another knife that's gonna be this thin, this light, and still give you pretty good blade real estate to work with, good handle real estate to work with, and a functional locking mechanism like this. There might be some slip joints out there that are kind of similar, but they're slip joints, you know, those type of aspects. So there is a level of like, there's nothing else on the market, and so if you want something like this, here's your one-stop shop, go to SOG and get the Ultra XR. So just take that in consideration, and again, if it's connecting with you, we'll have links for you guys below. We do appreciate when you do see a gear item that does connect, when you do use those hyperlinks. And a quick shout out to all the PayPal supporters. Because of you, I can buy gear like this. Because of you viewers, even if you like, share, all that stuff, really appreciate it. Helps me continue to make content like what you see here in this video. But folks, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this as not only your everyday carry, taking it to the office, night out on the town with your spouse and just having a great time, and taking it out here in the backcountry? Is this the absolute perfect option for you, or are you like me and you need something a little bit more robust for those aspects? For me, around town, ultralight, I mean, this is a really cool package. Every time I bust it out, people are like, whoa, what is that? Let me see that. They're really interested in it because it's got great lines and it's got great fit and finish and quality to the design. So along with that, folks, I invite you to subscribe, become part of the GT family. Check out the other video popping up. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media, throwing up content here week in, week out. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.